morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, to all of our online viewers. We welcome you back to World Council 2022. This current session will be World Council Resolution for consideration, where we will discuss the resolution on proposed new policies of the World Ymca and consider the new proposals for the national movement. If you are a voting delegate, please make sure to have your voting systems ready. We will be starting in less than a minute. Thank you for joining us once again.
Yes. Right.
It's because Nathaniel's proposition for the assemblies has been down. I think it might be coming up again now.
Maybe we'll just go with that on.
I think they're gonna play a video first, right?
Yeah. But I was thinking, because I don't want to stand in front of them.
I've been following the World Council closely and want to congratulate you on a phenomenal event.
What young people are capable of doing when given the platform, the network and the resources to take change in their own hands.
We need to encourage them to bring their ideas.
They feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel that the work they're doing actually matters.
From the second, third, fourth time you're at the table, you should start thinking about your responsibility to bring more chairs.
Good morning, everyone. Who participated in Dinner with a Dane last night? Yeah. By all reports, it was a fantastic event. Let's give a shout out to our Danish hosts and all the families who made that night so special. We're in the home stretch, and the rest of our day is focused on governance, our final devotion session, summarizing our collab work, inducting our new president, and wrapping it all up with our end note session, something you do not want to miss. We have much to accomplish and want to keep things going.
Now we're nearly there. My apologies for my voice. I promised a Canadian I would make it to the end of the week, and we're this close. But I do have some very important announcements to make. So we're going to make those now before handing on to our next session. Now, you've all received a notice in the app this morning which makes masks mandatory when you are in this room. That will include tonight's closing ceremony. Put simply, when you're in this room, you will need to wear a mask from now on. We do have a few more COVID cases reported, nothing to panic about, but we do need to do what we can to make sure that we're keeping each other safe for the final day of World Council. Bring your mask tonight, and if you don't have one, we can give you one at the help desk. Now, I know it's incredibly sad, but yes, we do all have to go home at some point. And so what we need to do is explain the airport shuttle buses. So there will be shuttle buses provided to Billund Airport and Aarhus Airport. Those who are travelling to Copenhagen can easily catch the train, which is a short distance from your hotels. Now there are information outside which says the shuttle times, and we highly recommend you jump onto one of those shuttles early to make sure they don't fill up and you miss out on your spot. So please leave considerable time to get on a shuttle and get to one of those airports. So, on with the program. First up is a session we call Resolutions for Consideration. This provides delegations the opportunity to bring resolutions before World Council for its review and consideration. To moderate this discussion, please welcome to already on the stage, Patricia Pelton, Augustin Garcia, Ronald Yam, Peter Posner, and Carlos Sanvi.
Well, thanks so much, and welcome back, everyone. It's great to see you. This is a serious part of our meeting, and this will be the governance session where we're dealing with the resolution. It is the final day of the World Council, and the resolutions that have been proposed by the national movements will be reviewed here and voted on. I would like to inform you that the chair of the governance committee, Duncan Ingram, has asked for an apology. Normally he'd be up at the table, that he's unable to attend the session because he had to travel home due to some urgent matters at home. However, I'm so pleased that Peter Posner, our past president, is going to play this role for standing in for Duncan, and thank you, Peter. Really much appreciated. Peter is going to go over the process and the procedure, and he'll be doing the introduction of the people that will come up. We've got some pretty hard and fast rules on this session, as those of you who have been in World Councils before will know. And so again, with thanks, I'm going to bring Peter to the forefront here. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And hello, everybody. And it's great to be here, and especially those online looking at our voting and taking part. We're going through a process to consider 4 resolutions which we've received from 4 different national movements. And the voting process is a bit of a complicated one, but I will take you through it step by step to make sure that everybody that needs to or wants to have a talk about them, and certainly to present them, will have that full opportunity. And this is the way it'll go. And you don't have to take notes. I've got the notes. They come from the bylaws and the Constitution, so it's all written down about how we do stuff. But I will take you through each of the speakers and each of the resolutions step by step so that we all get it in the right order. Those of you that are actually voting, you will need your Convene app. You'll be familiar with them because you've used them before, but we need that Convene app because that's how you will physically vote. There's no bits of paper and there's no cards or anything like that. So, we will announce the resolutions one by one. When the resolution is announced, the proposer, which is the representative on behalf of the national movement, will be invited to come to this lectern, and will have up to 3 minutes to talk, to propose their resolution. On the proposals so far, the resolutions so far, all but one of them have already the names of seconders. And whilst we can listen to a resolution, if there is nobody to second it, it automatically fails because it cannot come to you for consideration if there's nobody else prepared to back it. So the seconders will be named, or I will ask for a name if there is no one yet there who has seconded it. The seconder may speak immediately after the proposer. Normally what happens is the seconder will reserve the right to speak at the end so that they can perhaps catch some of the issues that have been raised during the questions. After it has been proposed and motion seconded, it will be open to the floor, both online and here in the hall, for people that want to raise questions or make a statement. Those people, bear in mind there's thousands of people involved in all of this, you'll be given 1 minute to talk. In the hall, there is a microphone in that corner, a microphone in that corner, and there's 2 up by either side of the sound desk. So if you want to talk, would you make your way to those microphones? Given what the President has said about coronavirus, please, just one person at a microphone at any time. In between the use of the microphone, they will be cleaned. I understand that there's really no, or very, very little problem about speaking. The problem comes if you touch it. So if you can try to resist being a pop star on stage holding the microphone, that would be very helpful. Those of you online, you have a chat box, and you can send questions and queries through the chat box. Those will be looked at behind the scenes and will be grouped into questions if there's a theme going, so that we can enable people online to have their voice with the resolutions. Ideally, 3 or 4 people will get up and talk about the resolution. If you're thinking about talking, can you do that beautiful YMCA thing, listen to understand, not listen to respond? Because it could well be that somebody is saying what you want to say, and there's really no need to repeat stuff. At the end of those comments from the floor and online, the seconder can have up to another 3 minutes, if they wish, to be able to say something. At which point, once that debate is over, I'll indicate to Madam President that the debate has finished and we can then go for a vote. At that time, those of you who are voting delegates, both online and here, that's when you need your Convene app to be open and live and on the page where it says voting. In resolution debate language, you would be in favour or against, or you will abstain. The words that are used on Convene is yes, abstain, or no. Yes or no. It's pretty clear. None of these resolutions have an impact on the Constitution, a change to the Constitution. If they did, they would need a 2/3 majority to get through. Because they're not changing the Constitution, and 1 or 2 other special cases which is not going to apply today, I don't think, we need a simple majority. And a simple majority is 50% plus 1 vote. If it is an absolutely 50-50, exactly the same number of yeses and nos, and remembering within the Constitution it says that abstentions don't count at all. If you abstain, you are neither going for it or against it. You're just saying, I don't have an opinion, or however you wish to interpret that. So we will look at the number of yeses, the number of nos, and if they are exactly the same, the Constitution gives the presiding officer, namely Patricia Pelton in this room now, the ability, if she so chooses, to cast a deciding vote. She may not wish to do that. The last thing I want to say to you is, the Constitution and the bylaws say that resolutions can be taken up to this moment. Guidelines say that we would prefer them to have them at least 24 hours in advance of now. Just like we did with the elections that we ran a few days ago, we're learning how to use and work within this hybrid situation where people are watching online as well as here in the hall. And a number of people have said to us already, it would be really great to be able to see the resolutions well in advance, whether that be a few days or a week or 2 or whatever, but in advance of even this moment when it's in theory possible to come with a resolution. That will all be fed back with our report from these resolutions and the process to the next executive with some recommendations about how we can make it smoother for the next time we do that. I hope that's clear. As I said, I will take you through it a step at a time each time we go through all of this. Well, thank you. We've got a total of 4 resolutions from 4 different national movements. And the first resolution we've received that we're going to discuss now is from the YMCA of New Zealand. Now, there is not, for travel and COVID reasons and all sorts of reasons, there's actually nobody here from New Zealand to present it, but hopefully we'll be able to have a representative online. He said, looking at the screens with a hope in his heart. Here we are. So here's the representative from the National Council of YMCA New Zealand to present the resolution. We're on mute.
They're really good dancers.
If you got $1 for every time you said that. Yes. Now you've gone.
Sorry, I keep getting muted. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to this resolution proposed by New Zealand and seconded by Australia and Lebanon. We believe profusely in the powerful purpose of the YMCA movement and our mission. And the opportunities that we offer young people to prosper in this ever-changing world. But more importantly as well, we also believe that the YMCA should be a safe place for all young people, children, parents. So keeping young people safe and providing them with a safe learning environment is fundamentally crucial to our purpose and mission. In many cases, YMCAs work with vulnerable young people in communities such as minorities, ethnic or refugee groups, who have suffered many pains and life experiences. And we are entrusted with a great responsibility to promote human rights and the rights of the child, ensuring that young people in communities have access to quality education, health and wellbeing services, and social justice. So safeguarding means a shared responsibility for all YMCAs to protect young people from all possible forms of abuse. At all levels, we must commit to building a safe environment and culture for young people to develop their full potential. This means acknowledging instances where abuse may have or has occurred within the YMCA, and a commitment to improve our safeguarding policies and practices and measures so that all young people moving forward who do interact with the YMCA are provided with a safe learning environment and are kept safe from harm. Together as a global movement, we can collectively condemn all forms of abuse and express care for the well-being of all survivors of abuse and commit to building a safer environment for those who interact with us. This resolution, in line with Vision 2030, calls upon the World Executive Committee and YMCA member organisations to strengthen their safeguarding practices, and as a global movement, we acknowledge our collective responsibility and a connected mission and purpose to keep young people safe. We implore all YMCA member organisations to vote in favour of this resolution and commit to building safer communities together with resilient young people who are themselves committed to building a safer, inclusive and better world. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. As we've heard, it's been seconded by Australia and Lebanon. Anybody there wish to speak now? Thank you very much. I hear that the seconder, I'm guessing from Australia, is reserving their right to reply. Well, thank you. We have a seconder. That means that we can go ahead and start debating. If anybody wishes to talk to this, please would you find those microphones in the four corners and talk. And I can't see anybody at all. Given that we're on a stage with lights, if there are and I can't see them, please let it be known. But there's nobody at the back? Nope, nobody here. Do we have any messages online that we wish to voice? Nothing online. Well, thank you. I'm going to close the debate from the floor. Would one of the seconders wish to come forward onto the stage and talk about it? Thank you. The seconders do not wish to exercise their right to vote, which means, Madam President, I think we can go ahead and vote.
Thank you very much, Peter. So we have on the docket now the motion from New Zealand, amplifying safeguarding in the YMCA movement. It's been moved, it's been seconded, and please go ahead, find your convene, and you may begin to vote. Thanks. You have 1 minute to vote.
Yeah, thank you.
How will I get my results?
Well, I'm hoping it's probably.
Play the result on the screen.
Cool. You're a little over halfway through your time to vote, so please ensure that online as well as in the room that you are able to submit your vote well in time.
I'm wondering if she's maybe...
Well, my friends, the time has elapsed. I see there's a number of people that have not voted, so I'm just going to keep talking for a second or two. And I'm going to call, please, that the voting be closed.
Okay.
Is that closed?
Thank you, Peter. So the results are in. We have 100 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 2 abstentions. So we will consider this motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. The system's worked. That's always a relief, isn't it? Okay, we have our second resolution, please, and that is from the National Council of YMCAs of Korea. And I'd like to invite somebody onto the stage to be able to present their resolution. Be careful in the lights and be careful on the stairs. So thank you very much indeed, and we have 3 minutes to time.
Hi, I'm General Secretary of Korea YMCA. Dear participants of the Tennis World Council, warm greetings to you from the National Council of YMCAs of Korea. First of all, we are very thankful to all of you for having adopted the resolution at the 19th World Council on Denuclearization and Peace Building in the Korean Peninsula, as well as restart of the YMCAs in North Korea. After the resolution was passed, positive progress was made, including the confirmation of a visit Pyongyang by Carlos Sambi, the Secretary General of the World Alliance of YMCAs. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, traveling across countries has not been free for about 2 years. In particular, North Korea has been consistent with the world's strongest quarantine policy, and the implementation of the resolution has not been going any further. Despite these circumstances, the National Council of YMCAs of Korea has been constantly exploring the possibility of establishing the temporary contact space in Pyongyang, especially through the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies, headquartered in Cambodia. In February 2022. The World YMCA, the CPCS, and GPEC, Global Partnership for Prevention of Armed Conflict, jointly promoted the establishment of the temporary contact space in Pyongyang. But it is currently on hold by the Pyongyang authorities due to the international political situation. In addition, to support the resolution of 19th World Council, Asia and Pacific Alliance of YMCAs decided to establish a task force on the Korean Peninsula peace building. At the Executive Committee meeting in early April 2021, after appointing Babu Marcus Gomez, the former president of FAA, as the chairperson, the first committee was held in February 2022 to support the new resolution to be submitted by the NCYK and to propose cooperative projects. Dear participants, the world is experiencing great crisis of international peace, such as the new Cold War and the Ukraine war, as well as the severe damage caused by COVID-19. The Korean Peninsula is still deeply wounded by the Korean War and division, and the new Cold War situation is strengthening peace. The Korea Peninsula is already a field of arms race, and yes, thank you. We sincerely request once again the solidarity of the World YMCA leaders to end the war leaders in ending the Korean War and building sustainable world peace. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. As I explained at the outset, there is a national movement that has put their resolution forward. As yet, we don't have a seconder. And before we can continue, is there anybody who is a voting delegate representative of a national movement? So we have from the floor a seconder from the Sri Lanka YMCA. Thank you very much indeed. Which therefore allows us to be able to discuss this resolution, having been proposed and seconded. Is there anybody on the floor who wishes to make a comment or discussion or questions? If you do, make your way to the microphones, please. If you're online, please send a note on the chat. And I'm delighted to see that the microphones at the back have got lights on them and in the corners. Anybody at a microphone? Am I right in saying there's nobody there? I can't see anybody. You'd agree? Yeah? So, Sri Lanka, would you like to speak to this resolution? You don't wish to speak. Any messages online? No messages online. Thank you very much indeed. So we've had the resolution proposed, seconded, the ability to be able to discuss it. Madam President.
Thank you very much, Peter. The motion then on the table is to approve the proposal from South Korea to reconfirm the resolution of the 19th World Council on the continued peace-building efforts between North and South Korea. It's then convened. Please go ahead and vote. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
We're halfway through our voting time. Thank you, Carlos. The time is up.
I'm just waiting for the results. The results are up. We have 85 yes votes, 2 no votes, 24 delegates chose to abstain, and so we consider this motion passed. Thank you, YMCA Korea.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. That's really great the way that you're able to listen and vote, and we have this democratic answer to the resolutions. We have a third resolution, please, which is received from the Ymca of Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and the YMCA of Sri Lanka. And if a representative would like to come up, I'd welcome that.
Dear old and new friends at the 20th YMCA World Council, and on behalf of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Sri Lanka, and the 13 seconders of this resolution, thank you so much for an inspiring week of fellowship, of decision-making, of meetings and discussions. I would like to begin this statement by asking us, as a movement, to give ourselves a hand for passing our first ever joint strategy, Vision 2030. I can honestly say that I have never been prouder to be a member of the YMCA. However, as we celebrate this huge step forward, we also need to ask ourselves these questions. How is Vision 2030 challenging us as a movement? How will we make it into reality? Our new strategy is bold. And if we are really serious about achieving the goals we have set for ourselves, and I do believe that we are, we need to take this challenge seriously. We have many YMCAs amongst us today that are living in realities of great injustices. Facing these injustices, we need to keep our heads cold, our hearts warm, and we need to remain balanced. And the balanced position in the face of occupation is to protect human rights. Protect our international institutions, just as Mr. Ban Ki-moon emphasized in his keynote speech. To protect our young people. That is why we are now being asked as a movement to take the principled stance against illegal military occupation. And that is why we want to give ourselves the mandate to establish a task force that will continue working on these issues even beyond the World Council. This resolution, it builds on human rights principles and decisions that the United Nations already agree on. Our countries are the ones who have already agreed. But although we agree, justice is not a reality. To make justice a reality, we must amplify the young voices calling for change. And if we, as the biggest youth organization on this entire planet, can't act on these principles, we will not be taking the lead in creating change. And then, Thank you. And then, frankly, I worry about the possibilities we will have to implement Vision 2030. I'm moving towards the end now. But imagine that it's 1985 and you're traveling home from the historic World Council right here in Denmark, where the YMCA adopted the resolution against apartheid in South Africa. How would you have voted? Today, I think we can all agree that adopting the resolution in '85 was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do then, and it truly is the right thing to do now. To respond to the cry from young people asking for an end to all ongoing situations of military and illegal occupations that cause tremendous harm. Therefore, in the end, I sincerely hope that we, as a movement, pass this resolution. That we aspire to make our joint Vision 2030 a reality. And this is one step in doing so. This is one step to ignite real change. I wish you all a good vote, a vote for a just world. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for those people that stood to represent, but in particular from Norway. We've heard that there are 13 movements who have seconded that. I think it would be helpful to have a prime seconder. And you're... YMCA South Africa? Thank you. YMCA South Africa representing the seconders. So thank you very much indeed. We haven't had a proposer, we have a seconder, several seconders, and we're now open to debate. And the microphones are illuminated and the chat line is on. Do we have any debate, please? I don't see any movement in the hall. And Carlos, how are we online? We're not seeing anything online. We have somebody, please. Okay, we have somebody proposing. I'd like to have your name and which national movement you're coming from before you start talking. Thank you.
My name's Camilo Villagrana, and I'm from United States, Medford, Oregon. And I was just curious, is this resolution effective in all of your countries?
It's not for me to answer, it's for you to answer, please.
The question if the resolution is effective in all our countries?
Yes.
Yeah. So the statement will, of course, be made by the World Council. And then this task force that I mentioned will be consisting of willing from national movements. And I believe that we completely respect that different YMCAs has different ways of working. And we all want a more just world, and we will do that together the way we see that fit. So you can choose to join this task force or not, but we ask for the mandate to move forward on this, and we ask for the solidarity statement from the World Council.
Is your task force mainly going to be volunteered or paid workers?
So the task force will be coordinated by a paid coordinator that will be externally funded. And that funding has already been secured. So that's of no financial concern to the World Alliance of the YMCA. And then the committee may consist of both volunteers, but also staff members that wish to donate this time to this work from the national movements. Thank you.
Is there any time frame when this task force will take effect?
Just for the sake of procedure, rather than having a one-to-one to one-to-one, if you could state your case, then it can be responded.
Yes.
Then it'll give other people the opportunity to talk, if that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been patient for too long, so ASAP.
Thank you.
We have another speaker in the hall, and Carlos is looking at the online just in case something is up there. Do we have another speaker? No, that was the cleaner of the microphone, just to show that the system works. Any other speakers? And nothing online. Well, my friends, I'm going to call the debate to a close. One of the seconders may choose to speak if they choose to. Please come to the microphone. Would you prefer to come up on stage?
Seeing that we're in a formal proceeding, for the record, my name is Marcus van Wyk, National General Secretary of YMCA South Africa. Mine is to say that as South Africa, we are extremely proud to say that when the movement voted to recognize that apartheid was evil, it emboldened the entire country. And so we stand here to say that from a South African perspective and many otherwise, that we have a moral responsibility to speak out. Because if we don't, I then question our reasons for what is a just world. And so I implore you that even if it does not pass, the work of injustice will continue, as in the tradition of how South Africa has dealt with injustice under apartheid. And so I am hopeful that as a movement, that we will demonstrate what it means to be a just world, as we all agreed and voted in favor of Vision 2030. And so I look forward with great anticipation and hope that we will do the right thing. Thank you.
Well, Madam President, we've had a proposer, we've had a seconder, we've had debate, and we can move forward to vote.
Thank you very much, Peter. The motion as written in convene is to approve the attached proposal from Norway on the Declaration on Peace and Security. Please go ahead and vote. You have 1 minute.
We're halfway through. For those online, we're halfway through the time. Well, thank you very much. The time for voting has elapsed.
And I have the results. So the results on this motion are yes, 66, no, 8. With 35 abstentions, we consider this motion passed.
Well, thank you, everybody, for taking part in that, and thank you for your engagement, and thank you for your bit of spontaneous exercise. That was really lovely to see. Which means that you're well in tune and awake and ready for our fourth and final resolution, which has been proposed by Ymca of Sweden. And if somebody would like to come and propose, that would be wonderful, please.
Hey everyone, my name is Emma Hundetmark. I'm the president of Ymca of Sweden. And it is a rare honor to be present in a moment of time when history is being made. And this is one of those moments. Because the resolution on youth, peace and security honors the long and proud history of the YMCA as a peace-building movement in a time when we are collectively taking aim at our horizon and the North Star. With the adoption of Vision 2030, the YMCA reaffirms its commitment to tirelessly act to enable meaningful youth participation and re-establish safe spaces, highlighted in the core belief that lies at the heart of the fourth pillar rationale for a just world, where the YMCA believes in the power of young people, communities, and to promote and advance justice, peace, equity, and human rights for all. So therefore, the YMCA of Sweden, together with Ireland, proposes that the following paragraphs be adopted at the 20th World Council here in Aarhus. So the World Alliance of YMCAs, the area alliances, as well as the national movements, acknowledge that the YMCA is a peace-building movement, enabling young people with diverse backgrounds and experiences to grow into actors for peace. The YMCA acknowledged that a large youth population represented in and by the YMCA represents a unique demographic dividend, contributing to lasting peace and economic prosperity. We also recognize the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 as a useful framework, especially when implementing the strategic goals within the fourth pillar rationale for a just world in Vision 2030. And we affirm and we act to enable and strengthen young people's voices on all levels, be it locally, nationally, or internationally. And we request that the Executive Committee remains actively focused on the matter and include information on youth in all situations of armed conflict and implementation of the 5 key pillars for action within the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 framework in the next presidential report at the coming World Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And we have a seconder from YMCA Ireland, and they may exercise their right to vote now or wait. Thank you. They wish to reserve the right to speak later if they want to. So is there any debate? Would anybody like to speak to this, please? And we're looking online to see if there are any comments online that need to be brought to the plenary. No, I'm not seeing anybody at the microphones, and we don't have any comments online. So my friend from YMCA Ireland, do you wish to speak? On his way. So as a seconder, just to remind you, you have up to 3 minutes to talk. Thank you.
In 1998, the Good Friday Agreement was passed in Northern Ireland. We're now 24 years on, and in Belfast, there are still 26 miles of peace walls dividing our communities. 93% of young people still go to segregated schools. 90% of young people living in public housing live in segregated housing. This is to demonstrate that even when we have peace, there is much work to be done. We need to support our young people to continue to build justice, unity, diversity, interdependence, and to find truth in each of our situations in which we live. And so whether you have had to live through conflict, whether you have never had to live through conflict, whether you are continuing to work for a peaceful society, I ask you to support this resolution as a matter of urgency to give young people a voice to work for peace in each and every one of our countries represented.
Well, thank you, everybody. Madam President, we've had a proposer, seconder, opportunity to talk. I think we can go to vote.
Very good. Thank you very much. So this motion, as read in your convene package, is to approve the attached motion from YMCA Sweden, which acknowledges the role of the YMCA as a peace-building movement. Please go ahead and vote on convene. You have 1 minute. Thanks.
So we're over halfway through already. So you've got just a few more seconds to vote. Well, thank you, everybody. I think we can close the voting.
And for the record, on this motion, we have 111 yeses, 1 no, 4 abstentions. This motion is passed. I want to let you know that we have had a very supporting resolution for Vision 2030, and that is from our World Association of YMCA Retirees. Last night, they passed a resolution in their own organized format to support Vision 2030, and when they go home to their home YMCAs, to make sure that they are supportive of the work going forward under the banner of Vision 2030. So thank you very much to the retirees. So I want to thank you very much. We're going to just keep you another minute or two, but for voting on these resolutions. I'm going to turn it over to Peter now, who will comment on the process and procedures related to the resolutions, then I'll close it out. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Patricia. A personal thank you to you all for bearing with us, for going with it, and now having a successful outcome. And as I said earlier, just in the same way as we handle the elections for the Executive Committee and its officers, the actual process of voting, once everybody was online, I was hearing things like I didn't have the password for the Wi-Fi, or my phone, these are real reasons, my phone was on the wrong time frame and it wouldn't connect to a server. These are the things that you don't think about when you're 6 months or a year back in an office somewhere in Geneva inventing a system. But we've now done it, and you, my friends, have successfully used an election system, and today we've successfully fully considered 4 resolutions. You've debated them, you've thought about them, and you've voted, and it's gone through. So the democracy is first rate, and it works. And it works for those online as well as those in the room. What needs ironing out and make smoother and more deliberate is the process leading up to this time, and specifically for today, for example, to share the resolutions. I think, this is my opinion, but I think that would be the conclusion, one of the conclusions we come to, so that you have them well in advance to be able to see them, both at home and here in the World Council. The World Council is such a busy place to be, that to be able to do it in the privacy of your home before you come here, for example, might be a really nice advantage. So Patricia, Madam President, there will be some feedback from the process. I think the debating rules stand. They've been going for a long time, and I think they're pretty sound. But how we get here needs a little bit of smoothing. And that will be fed back to the new executive committee. And I know that the president-elect, the new president, is part of what we're talking about literally now, and will also absorb all of this. So thank you very much indeed for what you've done and for the success, and it will be better next time.
So thanks so much, Peter, and to everyone that helped support this whole process. I appreciate it. I appreciate the people that put together these packages for the resolutions as they were being introduced. So thank you. This is truly how a good democratized organization works. We're going to now forward these resolutions to the new executive committee, of course, under the direction of the new president. And we will now end our session. Make sure and attend devotions at 1:30 and enjoy your lunch, enjoy your activities, and thank you again. Session's closed.
Thank you once again for joining our World Council resolutions for consideration. 4 motions or 4 proposals up and 4 proposals passed. Another amazing way to see democracy at work. Thank you for all of our voting delegates, as they have been instrumental in passing all of these. Coming up next, you have the opportunity to do a Q&A with the new president, Sahela Hayek, and have questions and answers and bring up proposals to her as well. If you don't have time for that, join us for yoga. But later on, please make sure to join us with devotions with Dory and Pius. We'll see you soon.